This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. Do you want better mental health? Then BetterHelp is for you. It is affordable, accessible, and most importantly, personalized online therapy. There is a special offer to the Lucy Pod listeners. You can get 10% off your first month of professional therapy at betterhelp.com/thelucypod. That's better, HELP.com/thelucypod. Thanks again to BetterHelp for sponsoring this episode. Please remember that the Lucy Pod is not a replacement for professional medical advice. If you have questions or concerns about your own amazing brain, please speak to a medical professional. I wish to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land on which I speak to you all today, the peoples of the Kulin Nation. Always was, always will be Aboriginal land. Okay, I'll show you that later. Anyway, hello everyone and welcome back to the Lucy Pod. I hope that you are all well and staying safe. I don't know why I'm laughing, but my special guest here is making me laugh. He's looking at me funny. So we're back and I'm here with my favorite guest, well, one of my favorite guests, and it's the boyfriend, Trent. How are you? How have you been?
I'm doing good, thanks. It's going well. It's going great.
So tell us, what has been going on? It's been a while since you've been on here.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've been on Lucy Pod, but I've been, editing them. I've been here the whole time behind the scenes. And it's great to do another episode.
All right. Well, today we're going to do a follow-up to one of our earlier episodes. I'm pretty sure it was actually one of our first. And it was the ADHD and romantic relationships, the good, the rad, and the lovely. And it was published back in August 2021. So it's been, a year?
Yeah, over a year.
Over a year, and things have changed, and we've broken up. No, I'm kidding. But to get the episode started, I wanted to talk to you about a Reddit page that I found. Now, I know Reddit can be a bit of a cesspool, and it can be really fantastic, but this particular subreddit is a cesspool, and it's a vent subreddit called A Place for Non-ADHD Partners. So it's for people who have partners who are ADHD and they're neurotypical.
Right.
Not all of it is bad, the thread, but, some of it is very wholesome, with like neurotypical partners asking really sweet questions like, how can I make my partner feel like they're not a burden? But some of it's pretty mean and ugly, and I want to show you and see how you react and talk about it. So I'm not going to show, I'm going to read it out to you. So the first post that I saw was, I'm getting really sick and tired of seeing these types of posts on social media. ADHD has become a popular topic among my generation, and everyone wants to post about it. Also, everyone seems to be diagnosed with it. What do you think of that?
Yeah, this reminds me of all those comments you read for the NDIS episode where people just...
Boomers.
Yeah, some people just don't like when other people are diagnosed or they have no perception. They think that it's overdiagnosed, or they simply just don't understand.
Mm-hmm. Does that make you feel a certain way?
No, I couldn't care.
Careless. Yeah, you know what? You're right. All right, next. If your partner has ADHD, you need to understand that they need this. They need you to do this. They need you to do that. You have to do this. You have to do that. How does that make you feel? That was a really poorly written one.
I don't know what you mean. Read that.
They're saying like as in you have to do everything for them.
If you're, what? What did they say?
If you're ADHD and you have a partner that's ADHD, sorry, if you have an ADHD partner, if your partner is ADHD, you need to understand that you need to do this and they need you to do that and you have to do this and you have to do that.
Oh, so there's specific things that each person has to do?
No, like you're having to do everything as the neurotypical.
Is that what that means?
Yes.
Okay. No, that's not true. I find Lucy often wants control of the situation, so she'll do most of like the things or the arrangement or like this has to be done in a certain way. Not that I have to do it, but that she wants. Often she doesn't want me to do it because she wants it done a specific way. So she'd rather I just not touch it or even go there. She'll just do it herself because I get in the way.
Okay. Now, another one. Every post I see from someone who claims to have ADHD is always about what we need to do for them, how we need to understand them, we need to help them, we need to love on them and care for them and be aware of their triggers. They can't help it, and so on and so forth.
It sounds like they're venting. I guess that makes sense because it is a venting subreddit. What's it called?
It's a place for non-ADHD partners.
Yeah, so I guess if anybody is seeking out this type of material, then they're generally going to be in a negative mindset anyway. So they're all just sort of complaining. Like, are there really any positive posts? Because, I mean, if you're seeking material for non-ADHD partners, that material is inevitably going to talk about what you need to do to support and understand and help your partner. So I'm not sure why are you shocked that that's the answer you get? Because that's what you're looking up.
Do you think it's unfair to judge a space like this? Like, should people be entitled to have a place that they can come to and be like, I'm finding this aspect of my relationship hard? Or do you think that's not possible because people will use it to like demonize their partner?
I guess it has a place, but I think traditionally you would just go to your friends or family to complain, whereas these people are turning to strangers on the internet. So it's just weird. It's like yelling into a void, and these people don't know you personally or your relationship, so they can't really help, right? Or at least that's what I feel. It's just like, why are you telling me this? Just go
get help.
Yeah, talk to your mates or your family about it and what you think. Because also it's every situation is so unique that all ADHD isn't applicable to everyone else. So you could only get a very generalized advice. So anyway, I think the space is just breeding negativity
and hostility.
Yeah, not that it shouldn't exist, because if
people do what they want.
Well, yeah, but if people don't have friends or family to go to vent to, and they want to do that on the internet instead, that's fine. But yeah.
Do you think the fact that it's anonymous maybe makes it easier for them to come forward?
For sure.
Do you think it breeds cruelty? Like, do you think they're annoyed about their ADHD partner, but then they see other posts and they're like, oh, cool, like these people are being really horrible, I can just exaggerate? Because I think some of these are made up, and I don't want to sound like I'm minimizing, but some of it I think is completely like that never happened.
Maybe, perhaps. I mean, that's the risk of everything on the internet, especially like on Reddit. I find a lot of people just talk bullshit and just say random. But maybe not. Like, I'm sure. I have no idea what the ratio of real to fake might be, but no, you're probably right. There are probably some
that are embellished. I'm not going to say fake.
Yeah, there are probably some that are embellished and stuff.
All right, I want to read you another one that I find quite funny. It's kind of towards the end. It's like a really long joke. All right, so okay. I cannot even count the number of times in my relationship where I, neurotypical, have needed support and love, and my diagnosed and medicated partner wasn't there for me. I remember so many times where I had emotional breakdowns because I was doing all the work. Housework, paying bills, making all his doctor's appointments, driving him to all his appointments, making meal plans, grocery shopping, etc., and struggling emotionally, and he couldn't be there for me. I remember a day where we were driving and I was talking to him about some pretty heavy stuff. I was going through it, and in the pretty heavy stuff I was going through, and in the middle of me talking, he pointed out the window and said, "Oh, look, a turkey." What do you think about that one? Apart from like the joke at the end, what do you think?
I think this honestly could apply to other relationships, not even like ADHD relationships in general. It sounds like it sounds heteronormative, and it's from a woman's perspective, right? So
could be, yeah. Oh, yeah, because, well, we don't know.
Well, they said him.
Yeah, but he could be a he.
Yeah, and that's true, but they described having to do all the meal planning and housework, etc. So
I think this one was the most one that I kind of felt bad about, that I would understand.
Yeah, like perhaps. Yeah, I know. I think that would be tough for any relationship, and maybe perhaps the the ADHD is getting in almost as a layer of like fog that's sort of what's the word? It's obscuring what's actually the boyfriend's lack of care and emotion
And laziness.
Versus their true like inability to look after themselves and comprehend what effort they need to put into a relationship and stuff. But I think in any case, this person, if they're genuinely doing all this work and getting nothing in return
and no compromise,
then that's just a broken relationship in any way. Like even if that
ADHD or not,
exactly.
I feel like
so. At least from what they've said. But
and it sucks, like no, not validating, but I agree. And then the person followed up and said, but I guess if he's not there for me emotionally, it's excusable because he has ADHD, right? Because who cares about the non-ADHD partner? It's all about the ADHD partner and making sure their needs are met and accommodating them and focusing on all the ways I can help him with his problems. Do you feel that?
Do I feel that personally? Yeah. No, definitely not. This person sounds very bitter and upset. No, I never feel like I have to compromise or make plans around or special like anything or like exemptions or I don't know what they're saying. They sound like they're
very angry. I think they're at the end of the road.
Yeah, they're very bitter and like upset with their partner and just aren't happy in a general sense, and they're acting, there's also a sense to it where it's like, well, maybe you shouldn't be coddling and doing all these things for your partner because you're just...
But someone's got to pay the bills though.
Yeah, well, not that, but
maybe
they're not enabling it, but it's like, well, if you're sick of doing all that stuff for your partner, step away or ask them to make an effort to do it themselves, because sometimes you find that people just take on all these roles and responsibilities themselves without ever distributing or asking for help.
And then they go, aren't you going to help?
Yeah, she could just be doing it all, thinking like, oh, that's what they've asked me to do, not realizing that like maybe he is capable, but because you've always been doing it for him, he's not learnt to do it for himself or whatever.
Yeah. Would you find it bad if you did have to make accommodations for me? Obviously nothing ridiculous, like you have to clap 3 times I come in the room, but like, would you, if I said, hey, Trent, I need you to, I don't know what to give it, but would you have a problem?
No, I don't think so. I think accommodations almost feels like talking about somebody with like a physical disability or like something where you actually have to
because it's not medically possible.
Change your like lifestyle fundamentally to accommodate for the other person versus like just compromise when relationships are built on compromise anyway. Like a good relationship has compromise on both ways. Like people will compromise on whatever it may be. So maybe in this relationship dynamic with a neurotypical and someone who has ADHD, there might be a leniency to compromise more towards the person with ADHD. So the neurotypical might feel like they have to compromise more in order, because the person with ADHD might, be less able to make compromise on certain things.
Do you think that's fair?
So I don't think it's fair, at least not for you, because I think you're very capable and able to make compromise. Like, you're very normal. Like,
we don't use normal labels. We use apt. I'm very capable.
So I don't have to worry about any of that with you.
If you had to, would you just be like, this is what I do?
I guess I feel like I would view it as like just part of the relationship and how it goes,
And would you need me to give you something back? Because I feel like these people would be okay, like taking it back to that girl. If she, let's say, does all the paying the bills, but her partner listened to her about her feelings and was there, I don't know if they'd necessarily have an issue.
True. That's true. Yeah,
Like,
well, that's part of
just
the
let me
compromise.
do everything for you, but at least show that you're interested.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. But that's part of the two-way street. So
But is that an
maybe
equal
they would
two-way
be-
street?
maybe, I mean, that's up to each relationship and for the individual to work out. But perhaps.
All right, this is another comment. I'm going to read another post that made me a bit sad. I thought it was depressing. Like, I felt bad for everyone. So this one is, ADHD is the victim disorder. It's a disorder when you can do no wrong, and anyone who suffers because of your behaviors is just not effing understanding enough.
This person just sounds like a dick. I mean, that's just not a nice approach to the situation, is it? Like, how does that help anyone having that type of attitude?
I agree. All right, the next post. Any of you have a spouse that is an entrepreneur? You can see that they had the ability all along, just not for you or the relationship. I'm sorry, I'm laughing. And then the comment. Yes, but his hyperfocus doesn't extend to running his own business. So that's also a mess. I just don't have to micromanage that too. Do you find, like, I guess because I don't know if I do this, do you ever get annoyed when, let's say, I can't do something for you, but you see me doing it for someone else, or I put my mind to something else?
I'm not sure I've ever seen that from you. I don't know. Like, you might get focused on the Lucy pod or doing, work or whatever. But that doesn't normally affect me because you're probably happy doing it. So I'm fine with that.
But if I was incapable, let's say it's like, I can't, like, control my temper around you or something, but then you see me with everyone else and I can.
Right. Yeah. Okay. I mean, yeah, that could be annoying for sure. In this case, she talks about her partner's
Business.
They're like trying to start a business or whatever. And especially if you have like a family, or even just an individual, that certainly would be frustrating seeing them put all their time and hyper focus and attention towards a business, but not towards you. And especially when they're like, oh, well, this thing, this brings me joy and it makes me money or whatever. And it should be like, well, your partner should also bring you joy and you should be happy to focus on them as well. That certainly could be frustrating. So I guess that's one type of approach to this relationship, the dynamic where that's a fair venting of a frustration.
And I think the other person, I won't read the full post, but they just go on to vent about how expensive ADHD medication is, which I completely get, like, the whole thing, but then blaming it on the partner. Like, if your partner was in an accident and they needed full care, I would hope to God you wouldn't be like, and I have to spend money on this because, like, how annoying is it that they're disabled? So they had me at the first chunk being like, it's so expensive. I spend $5,000 a month on meds and treatment. You've got me, but then blaming it on the partner. How does that make you feel?
How did they blame it on the partner? What did they say?
Oh, and he can't find a job, so one partner is bearing the brunt of decisions and funds. Got it. I'm exhausted.
Oh, so...
Like, you had me, we were in agreement, and then you just, like, kind of blamed your partner.
Okay. I mean, it's kind of valid
Blame the system. Go on.
It's kind of valid if they're blaming the fact that their partner isn't working. They're like, the medication is expensive. They need the medication, which is fair. So it sounds like, yes, they're angry that the medication is expensive, but the reason why it's a burden and they feel the need to vent is because they don't have a job, which I think anybody would be frustrated at your partner.
True. But we don't know the full story.
No, of course not.
And they will never put in the full story because it won't make them look as angelic.
Of course not. But going off what we've got, it kind of makes sense. I'd be frustrated if my partner wasn't working and, I was paying for their medication because it's like, yes, you need this, but it'd be nice if you would go out and get a job. Hopefully they're looking for a job and like trying to actually make efforts. Or if they're home all day, they're, I don't know, doing
Clean the
something
house.
Yeah. They're doing something with that time.
How do you feel that, and I know people who say this to me do not mean it meanly, but how do you feel when people say like, oh, Trent's a saint, like he's just so good? Because I don't know if they mean it because I'm just so loud and in your face, that's how they mean it? Or do people mean it as in like, oh, you're so lucky that he puts up with the ADHD? I take it as that. I'm probably paranoid, maybe, and I don't think people ever mean it to be mean. But what do you think?
Yeah, quite often when people say that stuff, I feel quite like taken aback on the part of like that's a really weird thing to say towards Lucy because, you know, she's not a burden. So I'm not anything special for like putting up with them. And I joke about this all the time about that like boomer mentality and old man humor of like, oh, you know, and my wife and the in-laws, and it's like those are their punchlines. They're punching down at just making fun of having to deal with, you know, their relationships in their life when it's like
they're very decent partner.
Well, yeah, and you know, all these like 90s and 80s sitcoms where it's half the jokes are just about their family dynamics, and it's like, okay, why is that a big joke to you? Like, it's not. There's nothing funny about that, and you're not special for having to live with someone else because that's just normal. Like that's what life is. So for me to be a saint to have to put up with Lucy, what I'm trying to get at is that, well, how would they feel if I was like, oh, and you're a saint for dealing with your wife and raising your kids and going to work? And it's like, well, no, you got to go to work and you live with your wife or whatever, and like that's just what it is. Like it's nothing special, and you're not expecting any kind of reward from it, and it's insulting to Lucy or whoever because they're not like a rabid dog or like
what
they're not an animal that needs constant care or something like that. Like they're just human. So no, I'm not a saint and I'm nothing special, and it's just weird to say that.
Yeah. And I think if anyone can say anything about Trent being a saint, it's me. I'm allowed to say, I feel like you are so good with me, you are so patient. I feel I can say that to you and tell other people like he's so wonderful with me. But it feels really weird because then I feel like saying to those people, and I'm a saint too. I'm a good partner as well. Yeah,
well, that makes sense. Yeah, it shouldn't be like, oh, you're a saint, you deal or you put up with this person. You can appreciate the like individual qualities, like, oh, you're patient or you're kind,
which you are. You're very
do this, you do that on an individual level. And just be normal, be human about it. Don't make it weird. Yeah.
What would you say to someone, and obviously we're not experts, what would you say to some of the people who are on this thread, apart from like get off thingo, what do you think they could benefit from knowing about ADHD? And obviously ADHD is a spectrum. You're only going off of me. You've not ever been with anyone else who's ADHD. So this is, can't like throw a carte blanche on the whole thing, but what would you say?
Yeah, so my first piece of advice would be to get off Reddit, though. That's still true. And probably, listen to the Lucy pod or like don't be ignorant. Go do like some research. Not that the Lucy pod is any like scientific study or anything.
I don't.
But it's a good like cultural, little bit of like insight that helps. Talk to real people that personally know you because ADHD is it's a behavioral thing. So knowing how somebody is, how they behave and how they feel and act really helps, which you're not going to get from strangers on the internet. And remember maybe these people have been in a lot more relationships than I have and have more experience with humans, but it's just a normal relationship for the most part, so you got to do all those normal relationship things and communicate and compromise and don't vent your frustration. Especially don't feel like you have to keep your frustrations against your partner pent up and don't tell them, communicate with them and be honest. Yeah, don't throw it in their face and be mean and vitriolic behind closed doors because that's far worse in some ways than what they're doing to you. Because also for some of these, few of these posts, they were placing these burdens and expectations upon themselves. Like maybe they weren't even communicating with their partner properly.
I think that's really lovely and solid. We'll wrap it up in a second, but I wanted to ask you one more question. And I don't know, maybe this is a thing that only girls do, like researching their partner if they tell them something. When you found out, well, you knew I was ADHD before we started dating, I'm pretty sure. But when we started dating, did you ever do, yeah, I did. It was so obvious. Did you ever do any
Well, you told me. You tell her.
I tell everybody. I just do. And if they don't know already, then God help them. Did you ever do any research?
No, I don't think I did.
That's why you're such a bad boyfriend.
Yeah.
So he's not a saint, guys. Never. You never looked it up like, oh.
No, I'm pretty sure I did. I mean, it was a long while ago now. So I wouldn't remember if I did. But yeah.
Do you ever now, like when I do something, you just would ask me?
No. I'll listen to the Lucy pod and get my resources that way.
But I wouldn't feel bad if you like didn't get something and you had to look it up instead of asking me.
Oh, for sure. If I felt genuinely unsure about something, like if somebody tells me they have a medical condition, like I'll look it up to better understand it.
Yeah.
Or whatever, because I don't know what that is specifically. But I guess with ADHD, it's like, I got that. I know what that is, Yeah,
because I think I'd be far more upset like finding my partner writing horrible things about me on Reddit.
True.
I'd rather my partner scream and unload on me being like, I'm tired, I can't cope, I mean, it'll hurt, rather than, going on Reddit and seeing abuse.
True, yeah. And I think also you were quick to share about like ADHD and tell people that you're ADHD and what it is and like how it affects you. So therefore, I probably didn't need to look anything up because you were very transparent in the relationship on that level.
I think that's a really nice way to end it. So, guys, if you have problems with your ADHD partners, don't go to Reddit. I get why people go to online communities because for a lot of people it is a great place of comfort and solace. I totally get that. I would recommend going on an ADHD online support group rather than a Reddit, because Reddit isn't properly moderated if we really think about it. So people can just get away with saying horrible things. Like there was one and it was, is it bad if I want to murder my autistic child? And it's like, no, that's not, no, it is bad, and no, you shouldn't be putting that online. So I would recommend going on, I don't know, the ADHD Foundation forum or something.
Or just getting regular like therapy, counselling like online or in person. Yeah, the sponsor of today's episode. Every episode. Of every episode
is, but yeah, I would just highly recommend that. And if you're not ready to take on like dealing with an ADHD partner, then don't date them. Like,
you shouldn't be dating anyone, really.
Yeah, if you're not, because everyone's going to come with a problem, whether they're neurotypical or not. You will have a partner who, like Trent, when I ask him to put something away, he chucks it, and that makes my blood boil. But I would probably find that in someone else.
She's joking.
I'm joking. You're just wonderful. You're a saint. Anyway.
Don't say that.
You are. I'm allowed to say that because you are. You're great.
Oh, thanks.
But thank you so much for coming on the pod.
Thank you.
We will do another episode. Good chat. Yeah. We'll do one on Spider-Man, I think. Oh. I reckon I want to do one on Taxi Driver, to be honest.
You think he's ADHD? I don't think
I think he's everything coded.
Yeah, that's true.
I think he's
got... We watched Taxi Driver last night.
So with yeah.
Yeah.
De Niro and Foster.
Yeah. But if I do one on Spider-Man, you mean a ADHD decoded
yes.
episode?
Yes.
Because I guess I did the Iron Man one, so now I'm just doing...
You're doing all the Marvel ones. Yeah.
Great.
Yes.
I feel like I'm getting typecast now.
All right. Well, thank you so much for coming on the pod. Stay safe, everyone. Be good. Behave yourselves. Take care. And I'll see you in the next one. Or I'll hear you in the next one. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks again to BetterHelp for sponsoring this episode. Don't forget the special offer to the Lucy Pod listeners. You can get 10% off your first month of professional therapy at betterhelp.com/thelucypod. That's better, HELP.com, the Lucy Pod.